Good evening. My name is Jack Dearborn, Chairman of the Weare Zoning Board of Adjustments. This is the October 2nd meeting, 2018. This evening we have three cases to hear. Case number 1118, Administrative Appeal, George Merrill. We have a case 1218, Variance Article 28.9 is Kenneth and Cheryl O'Leary. And we have a case 1318. Is 1711 for William and Christine Weiss. And with that, let me just kind of go over how we run the meeting. Let me set the board. It's the only board we have tonight for all three.
Mark Moretti, member.
Stu Richmond, member.
Michael Meyer, member.
Gary Shelto, member.
Alternate.
Alternate.
Thank you. The way we run the meeting is each case will be taken separately. The first thing we will do, I will bring the case up. In this case, the first case, 1118. And then I will ask if anybody wishes to accept the application, meaning a motion. We will then look at the application to see if it's complete enough for us to hold the meeting. If it's not complete, we'd ask the applicant to go back and fill in any necessary information. Then I'll ask for a vote. If it's yes, we'll continue. If not, we'll ask the applicant to go off and rectify it. When we do go through the actual hearing, I will ask the applicant to come forwards, and then I will ask the board if they have any questions of the applicant before we start. The reason for that is if there's something specific that needs to be addressed before we go through the hearing. Once that's completed, then I'll ask the applicant to get up, stay there, and if it's a variance, go through the 5 points of hardship, read the question, and read the answer. The reason that is because we have a copy here in front of us. People in the audience, people at home, do not have a copy, so the 5 points of hardship are important, and the need for a variance need to get all five in the positive. What I mean by that is there are 5 members on the board. For each one of those 5 questions individually, 3 people have to vote yes. Doesn't have to be the same people for every article, for every prong, the 5 prongs. But you need to get 3 out of the 5. Once we get through the application presentation, I'll ask the applicant to sit down, and then I'll ask if there's any approving abutters that wish to speak to the application. Hear them all sequentially. Everybody's got to come up here and state the name. Then I'll ask the last person, to sit down. And then I'll ask for disapproving abutters who wish to speak. We'll go through all of those folks. Everybody's going to come up here, state the name, and then sit down. Then I'll ask for other boards. Should be other boards like conservation, planning board, or whatever, to come up. Being none, then I'll move on to public at large. And that's citizens of the town of Weare. So after that, all done. So everybody had one shot at it. I'll ask the applicant to step back up again, and then I will say, do you wish to repeat or rebut anything that was said regarding from the people in the audience? And if he says no, then he sits down, then I'll go one more time through and ask people if they wish to rebut what he might have said. Everybody gets 2 shots at it here. So after that, I will shut down the public hearing. And then the board only will deliberate the case. The way we do it is we'll take the first prong, for instance, on a variance, and I'll ask for a motion in the positive, always in the positive, because yes means yes, no means no. It's simple. Then I'll ask for a second. If we don't get a second, that's a different problem. But if we get a second, I will then ask for discussion to discuss that particular prong. And after the discussion is completed, I'll ask for a vote. It's either yes or no. And like I say, if 3 votes yes, it carries. If 3 vote no, you're in trouble or more. We'll go through 2, 3, 4, and 5 individually. And at the end, if you were affirmative by 3 votes in each one of these, you get your variance. Okay. A special exception is slightly different, but we basically here are the 7 points of a special exception. We do vote on all 7 at once, not individually. It's not required. And on an administrative appeal, it's a yes or a no. 3 or more gets the administrative appeal. 2 or less fails. So that's how we run it. This evening, the first case is case number 1118, administrative appeal. And did we hear the case at all last time? No. So we're going to do this from scratch. Let me just read the top level. Okay. This is the application, case 111A, George W. Merrill, 345 3132. Phone number, address 310 Gorham Pond Road, Goffstown, New Hampshire, 03005. Owners the same as the applicant. Property or location, River Road in Weare, and its tax map lot 406, 51 and 53 lots. Residential zone, and it's 5.6 acre property with a frontage of 200.2 feet. Sidelines approximately 1,000 feet. Residential home is a proposed use. Why does your proposed use require an appeal to the zoning board? So this is an administrative appeal on this one. The planning board has approved a common driveway subject to unlawful conditions. So he's asking the zoning board to hear an appeal. He disputes what the planning board has done on the condition. So, that being the case, I will ask for a motion to accept it.
Move to accept case 1118.
Thank you. A second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Being none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. With that said, someone's in here. I have a memo. And there is a request to continue this case because the grievance is that Mr. Merrill was not properly notified of this meeting. Claims that the address that it was sent to was incorrect, and he did not get proper notice for this, and possibly other people. So, to that end, he has requested in writing, actually his lawyer, from Bruce J. Marshall Law Offices, PLLC, in Bow, New Hampshire, has asked for this on behalf of Mr. Merrill. So, he not being here, and him asking for continuance, I recommend we vote the continuance. And the continuance will be to the next meeting, specifically the next meeting, which is November 13th.
Why, dear Lord, do you say the 13th? Because the 6th is election day. And we will all be off voting.
It's never stopped us
Candidates of
before.
our choice.
Assuming you have your own,
Candidate of choice?
no, your own will to vote. Okay, 13th. So we're specifically setting this continued to the 13th of November. Okay with that?
And
I'd
they
ask-
have been notified of that.
Okay, so I'd ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good, thank you.
So
1.
you guys can go back and watch Toma Pile.
Was somebody here for this case tonight?
Yes, we were.
Well, unfortunately, this kind of popped out of the bag at the last minute. We were ready to hear Mr. Merrill this evening. He claims through his lawyer that he was misinformed, misidentified, for whatever reason. We tend to accept that as reasonable and see you on the 13th.
So, can I ask a question?
No. No, this is a court. We don't,
Okay.
you don't go to the court and have a conversation. Hate to be abrupt, but basically, we will hear the case on the 13th. Because nobody's here to hear your question, so it'll be improper for us to consider anything on this case. The case is closed right now till the 13th.
Okay.
You can talk to this guy all day tomorrow if you wish. Now, he gets
I
paid
was
to do
gonna
that.
say, call me in the morning.
Yeah.
Take 2 aspirin, call me.
Thank you. Okay. Putting Mr. George away.
And this was a 3:42 this afternoon.
Yeah. Okay, we now have Kenneth and Cheryl O'Leary.
Yep.
Hang
You
on,
can leave if you
let me
want.
dig out.
We just want to see the process.
I've got a kit here, meaning that there is many stapled pieces of paper. And I'm not sure if I got it all in the right order, because I might have actually shuffled the package. So, I have a pile here of some stuff. I'll go through it. But do you also have some Meridian attachments?
That's, should,
I have a shoreline permit in there that we, I think, put in there that I've already applied for.
Okay, I just wasn't sure, because normally this comes with a gigantic staple drawn through it, so I can figure out a case. That being the case, I'm just asking a question. So it looks like we have your application. So let me just start here, and I'll let you come up. So, okay, so this pile here is yours. Okay, let me just do my thing first here. Okay, this is case number 1218. This is Kenneth and Cheryl O'Leary. Home number is 781-272-3049, cell phone. And address is 105 Locust Street, Burlington, Massachusetts, 01803. You're out in the country now, huh?
Yes, we are.
Owners be it the same. Property address 30 Old Town Roadway, New Hampshire, 03281. Tax map and lot map 110, lot 119, residential property. Description of the property is the follows. Frontage on lake, 101.5 feet. Both sidelines are 100 plus or minus. Rear is 100 plus or minus. Lake side of property, no trees, no shrubs. Property has gradual slope to the water. See attached for the property use affected. And it's a C attached for Y's here. So, let me just go through this. We have an attachment. Proposed use, I won't read it, but basically I won't read it totally. They want to put a foundation under their property, and it's an access close to the water, requiring a setback. Built in '75, the property, prior to zoning, by 12 years. Okay, you have 5 points of hardship.
Yes.
Okay, attached. There is a Article 28.9 buffers, article from excerpt of page 41 from the town zoning. We have a property schedule, a property card, town of Weare. There's a list of abutters. There's a Meridian Land Service Incorporated, and it's for lot 110, map 110, lot 119. And it's prepared for Kenneth and Cheryl O'Leary. And this contains all kinds of diagrams, maps showing the vicinity, and some pictures defining the property. And then we have Meridian again, some more sketches, and they are, so they're actually, well, this is a sketch because it's not got a stamp on it, but they do have dimensional approved engineering drawings, some discussions, emails, Department of Environmental Services, a unstamped but dimensional drawing of the house with property. No dimensions, but appear to be a side or maybe a front view. And there is, looks like side and maybe a back. And I also have Department of Environmental Services, the date is June 04, oh, excuse me, approval date, June 04, 2018. And this is for 30 Old Town Road. And it looks like it is a septic. No, shoreline resource management. Then I got this pile yours?
I think, yeah, it's just a septic drawing sketch.
Yeah, and it literally is a hand-drawn sketch. Lake, property, house, deck, porch, septic, tree, EDA. So, we have the application, and before we have the gentleman step up here, and the lady, any questions on the application before we accept the application for a hearing this evening?
Just one question. The application, I just wanted to confirm that is our new digital application.
No,
It's not?
that hasn't been put into service yet.
The answer is no,
Okay.
unless they have a way of getting it for us. Any other discussion? Motion, please.
Move to accept case 1218.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Gary. Discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Come on up. Yes, no, Larry. Or whomever.
Good evening.
So, let me just ask, does anybody have any questions to clarify before we start down the 5 points of hardship? I think it's pretty obvious what he wants. With that being done, you got 5 points of hardship. Please read each question and the answer, and then we'll ask you to go to the second question.
Okay, so you don't want me to read the reasons for the permit, just start with the granting of a variance will not be contrary?
Yes, let's make sure I'm looking at the same thing you are. This is Weiss.
I think it's all in the, where I did see attached, it's all the way to the back.
You could write, you can read, you are required by law to demonstrate. Number
Okay.
one, you start with that.
Okay, number one, the granting of this variance will not be contrary to public interest because this variance is being requested to improve the safety and stability and physical appearance of the property. It will enhance the property value and that of the abutters and neighbors. It is not contrary to public interest. It is note that other lakefront properties in the area within the 25-foot buffer have been granted variance for home improvements. A DES waiver has been attained for this project. Just continue?
Yeah, number
Okay. Number two, the variance request will not be contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because the scope of the work proposed will not affect the integrity of the shoreline. It will have no impervious impact. No trees or native vegetation exist within the 25-foot buffer area, and therefore no vegetation will be disrupted or affected.
Okay, number three.
That through the granting of relief of the variance, substantial justice will be done because by allowing us to make the improvements as described, the structural stability of the home will be improved, safety of the deck and the retaining walls will be improved, and the property value will be improved. The appearance of the property will be improved, and further deterioration will be avoided.
Number four, please.
Number four, that granting the variance, the values of the surrounding properties will not diminish because the property is in serious need of structural repairs as described. The repairs will improve the appearance, structural safety, and increase the value of the home. Historically, well-maintained homes and properties have resulted in positive impacts on the surrounding property values. Properties in disrepair have negatively impacted abutters and neighbors.
Read number 5 in entirety, please.
And number 5, to qualify for a variance, you must demonstrate that denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship. Pursuant to applicable law, the test for unnecessary hardship is set forth in 2 alternative parts, Part A and B, as follows. A, unnecessary hardship means that owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area,
Go ahead.
no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provided provision on the property. Because of the location of the property on the lake as documented, no fair and substantial relationship exists, and the proposed use is a reasonable one. I intend to continue to use it as a residential home with proposed repairs and improvements are reasonable and based on the need to maintain and preserve the integrity of the property and allow for enjoyment of the property, enhance safety of the occupants of the property, and protect the property as an investment.
You can continue.
One more page.
Yeah, got one more page.
Continuing on.
Yeah.
Okay, accordingly, while having the foregoing standards of Part A in mind, please provide the following facts relative to your application. Please describe the special conditions of your property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. My property was built in 1975 prior to Article 28.9, the buffers, close to the water, which is now considered part of the 25-foot buffer. Many other lakefront homeowners have made home improvements within the buffer, allowing for repairs and improvement as indicated, what would be affording us a home as homeowners of Old Town Road the same opportunity. And then please indicate how owning these special conditions above. Because of the location of the property on the lake as documented, no fair and substantial relationship exists. Intended continued use of the residential home, the proposed repairs and improvements are reasonable based on the need to maintain and preserve the integrity of the property. Allow for the enjoyment of the property and enhance safety of the occupants in the property and protect the property as an investment.
B, please. On page 4.
I think I'm missing something here.
I got page
Oh, I got it. If the criteria in subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist. And only if, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, the property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. Accordingly, while having foregoing standards in Part B in mind, please provide the following facts relative to your application. Part B, please describe the special conditions of your property that distinguish it from other properties. The existing property was originally built in 1975, in closer proximity to the shorelands than today's standards would allow. Am I continuing on? Please,
Sure. Yep.
please indicate how owning to the special conditions identified above, your property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use for it. In order to repair and maintain my property, we need to perform repair work within the 25-foot buffer. This cannot be accomplished in strict compliance with the 25-foot buffers ordinance. Our property is in serious need of structural repairs to provide foundational stability to the existing home and replace the deteriorating retaining walls in the deck. Lack of maintenance by the prior owners, the age of the home, have contributed to these conditions. The work as described will support property safety, increase the stability of the structure, and ensure enjoyment of our home for the future in our investment.
Thank you, Mr. Weare. Any questions of the board? I'll ask Mr. Weare to sit down. You could? And you can sit right up front here. Any approving abutters wish to speak to this application? Any disapproving abutters wish to speak to this application? Other boards, public at large? would you like to opportunity to rebut anything that might have been said?
No, sir.
Thank you. Any approving of butters, disapproving of butters, public at large, other boards? Okay, at this point, I'm going to close down the public hearing, and the board will deliberate each one of the 5 points of hardship separately. Okay, could I have a motion for prong 1?
Move to accept prong 1.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Being none, all's in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. 2,
Move to accept prong 2.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Being none, 5-0. 3, please.
Move to accept 3.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 4, please.
Move to accept 4. Prong 4.
I'll
Second? Discussion? What do you want? You want Sue to second it, or you want Mike to
I
second
didn't
it?
hear anybody else say it.
He did.
Okay. Take it
Put up
away.
your hearing aids. I'll put them in.
They're up as high as they can go.
And being no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. And number 5, please.
Number 5 in its entirety.
I'll
Move to
second.
accept.
Thank you. Discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. O'Leary. And Mrs. O'Leary. Have a good evening. See Chip sometime tomorrow, and he can tell you what's gotta have to happen to get a, we're all done. If you wanna go back to Massachusetts, you are. You're welcome to stay if you have nothing else on the docket tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, the third is case 1318, variance, Article 1711, William and Christine Weiss, building on a Class 5 road, map 409, 171 Worldly Road, in a residential agricultural zone. All right, you doing the honors?
Yes.
Is Ms. Weiss in the room?
No.
And I do have, when you came in late.
Good, okay,
I have the signatures of both
okay, cool.
William and
All right.
Christine.
Let me go through the necessaries here. Applicant is William Weiss, telephone 529-7631. Address 4 Guys Lane, Weare, New Hampshire, 03281. Owner the same. Property address same. Property address location Worthley Road. Tax map lot 409, 171, residential agricultural. Frontage on Worthley Road, 129, lot depth, and 1450 plus or minus, area of 41.79 acres. To construct a new home on this lot. This lot fronts on a Class 6 road for the purpose. And we have included here cut and paste for the 5 points of hardship. We have a deed. We have a list of the butters. We also have a map here, which appears to be the tax map.
You should have two.
Excerpts of the tax map, oh, because there's 2 pieces.
This is a funky thing with a match line.
It's map 109 and map 12. Just for my interest, where are these located on this map? There's at least 1,000 choices. Right here?
71?
Yes, okay.
Why do we have 2 maps then? Is it?
It probably spills on,
Oh, it goes down here?
Sure, how they
Looks like it spills down there. Oh, that's 39. So is this the
Is that
one?
in a butter?
Oh, yeah, this is the southern piece of
Yeah,
this.
look at these maps.
They're still on screen there.
Right, right, I got through this in there. So it says, so which lot is it on this paper? Is it 23?
no,
Where is it?
it's the next one up.
This one?
So, 171. So it's only on one.
Well, why do we have 2
I
maps?
have no idea.
I gave you two because no one ever turns these in.
No,
So when
you
get
have to,
them,
wait,
I
you
give
have
them
2 maps because you want to see how it approached. how Worthley approaches this road.
Because Worthley comes off the end of the
It's of
paved
interest.
section of road.
It's of interest.
Okay.
The
All
first
right,
house
you
is
solved the
on
problem.
the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
map.
This shows the lot.
Yep.
This shows the access to the lot.
Right,
So if you put it, like that,
got it.
if you fill forward.
Okay,
Anyway, that's.
so are you speaking on behalf of the applicant?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
So there's really, you read 129, the frontage is really 1290. Yeah, I got 129 here. Should be,
1290?
There's 1290.
Okay.
yeah.
We'll
Typo.
change that.
Sorry, I just-
It
So,
looks like feet.
yeah.
Okay.
So the other plan, the plan that I did,
Wait a minute, we're gonna accept the application.
I
That's okay.
thought you were ready for me.
Okay. Motion to accept the application 1318.
Move to accept case 1318.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Okay. Any questions, Bart, before we allow them to start?
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm just still trying to find a lot here. 171.
It's at the bottom.
Look at the second map,
Or is that the
very
top?
bottom.
The bottom.
Hold down. Okay.
Circle that.
Yeah, okay, there. So this is 41.79 acres, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
The second map.
Are you ready?
71.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prong one, please.
So the Weisses would like to get a building permit for lot 171 on Worthley Road. It's on the west side of Worthley Road. And it's on a Class 6 road. And it's, they have 1,290 feet of frontage, but they're 1,370 feet from the last part of Worthley Road that's been upgraded.
Approximately how many feet is it from the previous?
1,300, about 1,390.
No, there's another house before that on Class 6 that was approved
Oh.
recently. How many feet from the Class 6 road?
The
for
upgraded Class 6?
driveway from the Class 6 road building on it? Approximately how many feet from that driveway where it ends to this?
To his lot?
Yeah.
About 1,370.
Beyond that?
Yeah. That's
So
what,
we're not talking from Worley, we're talking from the other guy's house.
I'm talking, yeah.
Okay,
Wait.
Okay, so here it is. So here's this lot.
yeah.
The
So where do
house-
you think?
This house is right, well, this corner, it's upgraded right to there.
Yeah, but
This
Okay.
new, the house that's on.
show
this-
me where the 1,300 feet goes.
Right here,
That's not what I'm asking. I'm
What are you
asking you
asking?
from the guy's driveway that's before him.
right here. This house is right here. This is the end of the upgraded Worthley.
Thought it was on the right-hand side going in.
No, it's on the left.
It's on the left?
Yeah.
His driveway kind of goes straight in to his house.
So he's an additional 1,300 feet?
Yes.
And where is his closest piece of his property to that? That's the 1,300 feet?
That's the 1,300 from there. You want to see it on a tax map? Well, you can see it because it's the whole piece on the lower map. Because the match line is this property line between the two properties. So, right here, his house is right here, so it's upgraded. Yes. I think the paved part's right here somewhere. And then
Correct.
this is-
Worthley
and
Road would
this is
stop right here,
Yeah,
where the
paved.
intersection of this little
the
road.
paved area, and then the rest of this
So
is...
he basically upgraded this
Yes.
from, at best, a cow path to a compliant driveway, correct?
Yes.
And he wants to go
1,300 feet more, or 1,370 feet more.
okay, so he's going a full length of 23,
Yes.
and he's getting to 71.
171.
that's the gist of it all. And he would like to bring it up to a standard so that the town vehicles could get there if there's emergencies, such as the
Well,
guy on,
Here's the question.
the owner on 120, on 23.
Is there enough room for him to have a place to allow 2 trucks to pass? Yeah, this is an extremely long run.
Yeah, it's
beyond
gonna have to
400
be, I know, he has to build a good driveway.
No,
He-
no, you're missing the point. He could have a great driveway, 12 feet. At some point, he needs to have it such that 2 vehicles, be it fire trucks,
Yeah.
go past each other.
Mhm.
One pull off and one continue.
He's gonna have to have it 16 like everybody else does, 16 with shoulders.
And how wide is this road? Is it 2 or 3 wide?
3. There's room. I've walked it. I walked it with Benji, and we've walked it. There's some ledge in it, and he's gonna have to blast some ledge and make it. And the grade is really not. It's no more than 5% from in the 1300.
I haven't been out there for 30 years, but it was not that great 30 years ago.
No, it's not great right now, but someone's gonna have to pay to build a good access.
And is your client willing to restrict one house on that property?
I don't know that. I can't answer for him.
You might want to.
So you might have that as a condition?
Well, it's 43 acres out there.
Hmm.
And the length of that driveway is extremely challenged, even with a driveway. And the whole purpose of the issue is getting vehicles out there in inclement weather. So,
Well, you can't, okay, if you restrict them to 1 with a driveway, I don't think you should be restricting them for one thing, because you never know if somebody's gonna, this guy next door could buy that, someone could buy it, they could develop it, by using some of their land to get access out there. So to put a restriction like that, that's pretty strong. I think if he
well,
puts a driveway
his
out there, that's
request
all he
is pretty
can.
strong.
Well, no, but I think if he puts a driveway out there, nobody can, that's all you're gonna get's one house, because it's not subdivided, and you can't subdivide it until somebody puts a town road there.
Yeah, I understand, but this is,
Well, that's the essence,
a lot of times, people come in, and there's a lot within the proximity of other houses that built before zoning, like on the lake, like on other properties like Sawyer Road. This is an entirely different issue where, I gotta think about this. This appears to be premature. That's the term, because a quarter of a mile, you're going past the two total pieces of property to get there, maybe even 3. On the left-hand side, one piece that you access.
there are a lot of people that have long driveways.
But not on class 6.
Well,
You're asking for relief of the zoning, okay? You're asking for relief to build on a non-town maintained road, which is a town road. Typically, most people have a hardship because other people in the immediate area have built there, like around the lake, for instance, Sawyer Road and a few others. So there's already an established subdivision, even though it may be prior to zoning, it still is a unapproved subdivision because it's prior to zoning, non-compliant.
okay, I probably could answer for my client. He would put a restriction on there, but you'd have to put the caveat that if a town road ever went by this piece of property, it could be developed.
But I think you're missing the point. But the length of this town non-maintained road is that issue. There is
Yeah.
no other buildings within a quarter of a mile of this. I'm not suggesting people's backyards. People that access off this road, all these properties here are accessed off this other road.
Correct.
Okay, so this road goes out there to service that lot.
So pretty much no one else is gonna be using it. Well, they might, because they abut it.
The issue
I
is,
know
do you
what
have any standing as a mature subdivision you're asking for relief in? The answer is no. What I'm getting across here is, the other driveway was relatively close and two other subdivided pieces. This is a quarter mile beyond that property. You guys willing to go ahead with this? I am. I just want to, that is a concern that we have in the past found that there was no standing of a subdivision where with parallel lots beside them, and we have turned it down because of it's premature. The question is, do we find this to be premature? Like on Gettings, like on Husky subdivision.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but there isn't too much room unless somebody was to come in off, Horse Hill Road over here, take one of these lots out, and they've got to subdivide this piece of property in here.
Well, the only way they can
But that's-
subdivide that if all the property goes across the class 5.
Right, then they have to upgrade.
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah.
Question is, do we grant him, do we consider, is there an issue with granting this? And I'm asking you, this is a discussion before we ask him to satisfy points of hardship. Okay. Well, we will, if you wish us to proceed, we will. Be happy to do that. This is an opportunity for us to discuss what you're asking for, and I just thought it was important to understand that. And we will judge it on your merits of your 5 points of hardship.
Well, we're asking for one building
I know
permit.
you are.
Yep,
I'm clear.
and upgrading the access so that
I
we can
understand.
access it. Yeah. That's basically what we're asking for.
Now, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
What happens if this guy on lot 23, this is lot 171 we're talking about, but 23 down here, the road starts here. Suppose he wants a building permit up there.
He's already got one.
No, he's down here.
I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry, your finger's in the way. Correct, he'd be in asking for it,
Yeah.
as well.
So then we would have two houses on one driveway.
but he ain't doing it yet.
No.
I'm just suggesting that. Rare is it that we've considered, I just want to, this is a condition I wanted to understand to make sure the 1,300 feet is correct, thereabouts.
If they want to go spend that kind of money on that.
Okay, so nobody has, okay, let's proceed with the case. I just want to make that clear, so everybody understood we're dealing with a quarter-mile driveway. Okay. Prong 1.
Okay. That granting of the variance will not be contrary to the public interest because the construction of a single-family home will be similar to abutting homes. No public funds will be used to construct or maintain the improved driveway to this home. The driveway will be maintained by the owners of the lot. Number 2, the variance requested will not be contrary to the spirit of the ordinance because the spirit of the ordinance will be maintained when the access to the lot is brought up to town driveway standards, so town emergency vehicles can get to the new home. Number 3, that through granting of relief by variance, substantial justice will be done because granting a variance for a building permit will allow use of the property as an abutting property owner has done, tax lot 23. A driveway constructed to town standards will justify this variance. Number 4, that by granting the variance, the values of surrounding properties will not be diminished because the new single-family home will be of similar construction as the other properties on Woodley Road. Residential use in a residential neighborhood will not diminish values. And number 5, I'm going to go right to A. Please describe the special conditions of your property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. The special condition of this lot is that it fronts on a Class 6 road, which is not up to town road or driveway standards. Please indicate how owning the special conditions identified above. Or 1 or whatever it is. No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. The ordinance provision says no building permits allowed on these roads because they are not up to a town standard. If this access is brought up to a town standard where the lot can be accessed safely, the ordinance provision is not needed and a variance can be granted. And how the proposed use is a reasonable one. This is an existing lot of record and it is reasonable to use it to construct a new home once the access is brought up to the town driveway standards. And B is similar. Please describe the special conditions of your property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. The special condition of this lot is that it fronts on a Class 6 road, which is not up to a town road or driveway standard. Please indicate how owning to the special conditions identified above, your property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. This ordinance article does not allow residential use of the property because the access is not up to a standard for town emergency vehicles, i.e. fire, police, and rescue. A variance granted with conditions will allow a new home to be built on this property. Such conditions can be getting permission from the selectmen to do the work necessary to construct the driveway on the Class 6 roadway and require the construction of the driveway to meet the town driveway standards for those town emergencies vehicles.
Okay.
I guess you get my point there, pretty much. We just need to build an access
Yeah.
to get to it. And it seems reasonable to do that.
Okay. Have a seat. Any approving abutters wish to speak on behalf of this application? Any disapproving abutters wish to speak? Come on down, ma'am. Name, please.
Donna James, Lot 122.
Okay, would you show us on here, this property is here, but your property is down here.
It's here, I'm
Across the street.
You are on the other street. Your access is on the other street. You'll butt them on the backside. Okay, I got it. Everybody see that? Okay, thank you.
I'm confused about the driveway versus road issue. On the one hand, it seems to be it's not going to be a town-maintained road. But on the other hand, it seems to be it's a Class 6 town road and he can make it his driveway. Is that correct? Is that what we're basically talking about?
Both your questions are possibly correct. Okay, let me answer. Let me tell you. A Class 5 road is a town-owned road.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be asphalted. It doesn't even have to be to the town of Weare standards. It could be like Tiffany Hill, which is barely passable with 2 vehicles. But it is a Class 5 road because the town maintains it.
Okay.
Town-owned, town-maintained. This is a Class 6 road, which means the town owns the road. A town does not maintain it, nor can anybody demand the town to do it, because the town basically has not done it for more than 5 years. To my knowledge, it's never been done. So, it meets the Class 6. And not to further confuse it, but there's also a private road, which is not owned by the town and not maintained by the town. That typically you find around like the Lake Horace. Somebody just bulldozed something out in the 1920s, started selling lots off, and it's not even a town-owned road, It's not even a town-maintained road. So, this happens to be the Class 6 that the town has not for a long time and chooses not to maintain this road. The town physically owns the land that the road's on. So, why is he here? Because the variance is required to Article 17.11. 17.11 says, nothing's to be built on anything but a Class 5, meaning not Class 6 or private. That's why he's here. Even if he passes this hurdle, he then has to go and ask permission under RSA 674-41, which is the most confusing article ever written. But it says that the select board actually owns the property and has jurisdiction over private roads as far as allowing building permits. So when if he has any justification or if he passes us, he then has to go to the select board and get them to allow him being the owner of the property. We give him permission to have a relaxation to the zoning. The select board has to give them permission under RSA 674-41 that says he can use the road. He has the permission of the town select board to use the road. So he's on step one here, asking for a variance to the zoning ordinance, 17.11. Very confusing, and the very reason why the state under 674-41 and the town does it, because they want orderly growth. The unfortunate part for this town is we didn't have zoning till '87, which means there was 200 years of people just doing what they wanted in the town of Weare, especially around lakes and stuff like that. And there was a lot of driveways that went around, thousands of feet, servicing many, many lots, which are now turned into full-time housing, which used to be just summer camps. So, again, the state requires, under 674-41, the permission of the select board to use the actual road. We're granting permission for him to have an exception to zoning to allow him to build on a Class 6 or a private road. It's kind of confusing, but that's the essence of it. So he needs to stop here first, and if we tell him no, he basically can have a rehearing, and then if we still tell him no again, because no one new information came forward, he then has a direct appeal to Superior Court. He doesn't get to see the select board. And technically, if he goes to the select, if we say we grant this, and he goes to the select board says no, and then he has an appeal back to us for practical difficulty. It's the most confusing thing. That rarely happens, but it does happen sometimes. So, his first burden is to get 3 votes for each one of the 5 points of hardship. So the principal issue, he's got to show that he has a hardship. And is this a reasonable use? Is it an unnecessary hardship and a reasonable use? And that's the essence of these 5 questions.
So
Confusing.
the road is still town owned.
So the road will still be town-owned, but it'll be his driveway.
Correct. They
So
will give him
those are-
permission to be his driveway.
I guess
He has to upgrade it.
that's what my concern is, because then that means we could still use the rest of the road for those of us who use it for recreational purposes, but we're gonna get to his driveway and then suddenly we're on somebody's driveway.
Well,
I mean, it's not gonna be quite, he's probably gonna have it paved or plowed in the
He'd have to
wintertime, so
ask-
there we kind of
he
lose
has to
out on.
ask the select board for permission to pave it. Okay? This is step 1 in the journey.
Well, okay, even if he doesn't pave it though, he will be having someone plow
Sure, probably
up to
himself.
wherever he puts the driveway, maybe 1,300 feet, it may be
What's wrong
further
with
in,
that?
depending upon that.
I'm just trying to understand. Yes, he will. 'Cause-
Okay.
And the reason is, not because he needs to get there and under any conditions, because should the fire or police need to respond to his residence,
Oh, right, no, I understand.
that's why. he
Right,
will
I
need to
understand
have
that completely. I'm just saying, though, that then he's going to be using town property for his driveway, and those of us who use that for recreation will be losing that part of Worthley Road
Not
because
at
it's
all.
plowed.
You get your shocked. What do you mean? You want it to be snow covered?
Those of us who snowshoe or ride snowmobiles, yeah,
Wow.
we need snow. So basically, you're saying it's taken out of that type of town use because it's going to be his driveway, if this was approved.
It would change.
Well, it would be possibly sanded, probably not
Yeah, but
salted.
that's not going to
Right, and
do it.
it'll probably be plowed.
Yeah, the plowing's the big problem,
Well,
yeah. Well, that's what
I
my
guess my
question was.
point is-
Basically, it's being, if approved, then we lose that section of Worthley Road.
if approved by us, it goes to the select board. Then they're more concerned about what he does with the road, because they own the road.
Right.
They're giving him permission to use this as a driveway.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't give up the rights of people to use this as a road.
Right.
Maybe
No.
a conflict whether he plows it or not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is very convoluted.
Yeah.
It's hard to discuss, but basically, comes here to get permission for a building permit. And then he has to go to the Board of Selectmen, who actually have oversight under RSA 674-41. That allows the Select Board to say, this is how you're gonna use the property. Okay, meaning the road. So, we have kind of like shared responsibilities, but they're very specific because of the way the law is set up.
Right, okay, well, no, you answered my question about it, possibly then we could lose the use of that end of the, I understand you're saying we could still use it, but we won't be able to use it in the same way we have been in the past, if this goes through.
Depending on the selectmen.
If it's 50 feet wide, you might be able to.
I mean, because on the other side, you know, you've got people's property, so, you know, when
No,
you're
it's
back to
50
doing
feet
things, you
wide.
know, you're not,
It's
right of
between
way.
the walls, the town-owned property is 50 feet wide. Typically, it's a 3-rod road. That's an old measurement, which is 5 1/3 yards, or 16 2/3 feet is a rod. So most are either 2, which is slightly 33 feet wide, the right-of-way, or 50 feet. So if he's only playing with the middle piece, or some aspect of
I'm
it.
saying, no, it's not 50 feet, the stone wall at the edge of my property to the next stone wall, is not that wide.
You think it's 50 feet?
No, it's not 50.
It's not.
So when I asked you if it's a 2 or a 3-yard road, you
Yeah.
thought it was a 3-yard road. Okay,
I
so
would
what,
say-
how wide is the
I
road?
believe it's 33, sorry.
So that's a 2-rod road.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I missed what you said. Sorry.
You might be able to make a compelling reason to the select board to have him left or right justify the road. So there's a position of the road that's not occupied in that 33 feet that you may otherwise use for your winter.
Right.
It may not be cleared. I'm just saying that that's something you may consider talking to the select board if it makes it that far.
If it makes it that far, if this progresses, will the abutters be notified as this progresses? How does that go?
Yes.
Thank you. I wasn't sure about the select board.
No, oh, I understand, that's another
For us,
body.
the abutters have been notified.
Right,
The next shot, if we approve this with conditions, the next bus stop is at the select board, and you'll be notified.
okay.
And, did I help?
Well, yeah, you answered the question, and I still have then that big concern, I mean, but,
Well, we note your concern.
well, thank you, I appreciate that.
It'll
That's
show
why I
up in the
came.
minutes. Did you get her name?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Where were we? Any other approving the abutters wish to speak? Disapproving abutters wish to speak? Public at large, other boards.
Other boards.
Other boards?
Other boards.
You speaking on behalf of another board?
I'm speaking on behalf of, and hopefully with the permission of the fire chief, board of fire wards, the building department, the board of selectmen, and everyone else that's involved in this.
They should be here or have a letter
Well,
for
one
you.
of me is here, and then
Who?
I'll just speak for myself.
Well, you're not a town member.
But I'm another board.
What board are you on? What board are you a member of? Not trying to give you a hard time, but I don't want to get dinged for this.
As the building inspector and code enforcement officer, I am entitled and required to make comments and submit them to the board.
Good.
And I am here to submit them.
Thank you for answering my question.
Well, you should have known that.
Well, I need you to state that for the casual observers. You're not here for the select board, you're not here for the fire. You want to speak on behalf of the code enforcement officer? Be my guest.
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
You want me to go up there?
Yes.
My name is Charles Meany. I'm the code enforcement officer for the town of Weare.
Third.
Charles F. Meany III.
Thank you.
I am speaking on behalf of the building department, which is a recognized board in this town. I am not a resident of this town, nor am I a member of this board. For pure clarification, I take serious umbrage with the fact that this road is being considered as a driveway. This is a town-owned road, and any standard that is applied to it has to be done by the selectmen and not this board. I think that the zoning board is out of its purview in setting requirements for the building of this road. As was referred to by the surveyor, that this is a driveway. That 1,300 and whatever number of feet is not his driveway. It's still a town road. His
We
driveway,
don't disagree. He gets
his
permission,
driveway
yes.
doesn't start till he gets to the end of the approved section of road. That's all I have to say.
All right. Public at large? I think we're done. Okay. With that said, we are going to close the public hearing.
We're not done. You
You want a rebuttal?
Where's the rebut?
Oh, jump up.
I think it was supposed to be twice back. I remember 2 times.
Try it. We'll see if we like you.
So, I referred to what we'd like to construct as a driveway, correct? Many times. Until we meet the selectmen, we don't know what we're going to face. Maybe they will require more than a driveway. We know it's going to be expensive. I mean, it's 1,300 feet and there's ledge and there's things. But we'd like the opportunity, we'd like a variance to have the opportunity to approach the selectmen. That's all I
Okay.
can say.
Thank you. Let's, motion for prong 1.
Move to accept prong 1.
Second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I have a discussion. Should we consider this application? I'm gonna find it now. Here. No. It's not what I want. I had it here just a minute ago. Oh, here it is, sorry. Should we consider this? We should consider with the following conditions we place on this. The first condition I'd recommend, the applicant shall be required to post the necessary signs at the transition of a Class 6 to a Class 5 to a Class 6 road in accordance with the town of Ware sign policy and be consistent with New Hampshire RSA 674-41, 1 parentheses C for a Class 6 road. I'll give you this, so you haven't got to write this down. Condition 2, the applicant shall be required to complete a town of Ware liability disclaimer and file the liability disclaimer at the Hillsborough County Registry of Deeds and be consistent with RSA 674-41, 1C for a Class 6 road. 3, the applicant shall take the necessary actions to be in compliance with the Town of Ware Planning Board's subdivision regulation for driveway permit and the Town of Ware zoning ordinance, Article 36. The applicant shall take the necessary actions to comply with 9/11 signage requirements for proper residence location identification to support emergency vehicles for life and safety purposes. You want to consider any other requirements?
I think you covered it.
In the past, we've discussed the number of lots, so,
Put a condition down for
well, that's where
limiting it to a single lot?
Well, that's what I want to make sure. I mean, as was made pretty clear, this is a town-owned road. It's not a driveway. So would that apply in this case to Worthley Road? If the
We're
owner of
restricting
lot
his lot. We're not
172
restricting
comes
the
in
road.
and
We're
wants it,
restricting his lot to one.
I just want to clarify that. If the owner of lot 172 comes in and wants to
He's got the same right. to
that
come.
doesn't apply in this case, the
Not
two
to him.
lots. Okay, just clarification.
We're strictly for
That's
this
a whole
case.
nother meeting.
Exactly.
So you want to put a condition?
I don't think it's required in this
Okay,
case.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, just clarifying.
Anybody else?
I'd like to accept those conditions and,
Well, it'll be part of this, and it'll continue with the rest of the
yeah.
articles, okay? So we'll have to repeat it.
Okay.
Okay, we have a second, we have conditions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0, am I correct? Okay. Prong 2,
Move to accept number prong 2.
I'll second that.
thank you. Discussion, same conditions. No further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 3, please.
Move to accept prong 3.
Second.
I'll second that again.
Discussion, conditions, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 4.
Move to accept 4. Prong 4.
Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion with conditions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. And 5 is an entirety.
Move to accept prong 5 in its entirety.
Second.
I'll second that.
Conditions, discussions, conditions as stated. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Being none, 5-0. Okay. That is it. Now, George, you showed up late to the game here.
I was actually here at 7 o'clock, thinking the meeting was at 7. I do not sit in front of my computer.
Nor do I, but I will say that we did take your appeal up, and we continued it to the 13th of November.
Yes.
So that happened. If you play the recording back, you'll see that we took you off at 7:30, the first case, and we continued your case per your request through your attorney, and to the 13th, and there'll be no more discussion on it because it's done for this evening.
Right.
Okay, so we'll see you on the 13th.
Very
Make
good.
sense?
And I have a request that I pulled off the computer for the next meeting, for the next month, which I'll do too.
Have a good night, George.
All right, thank you. And I
Okay.
apologize if you're, are you Raymond and Susan?
Yep.
And I apologize for not making.
Well, George, we gotta keep the meeting moving.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. We got a bunch of minutes here.
That's why we continued. Correct your address. I have a letter in there with your address on it that came right off of your damn application. Returned, there's no such address. And then I get this nasty gram from your attorney, says I didn't notify you.
Could we continue this tomorrow
It's in
morning?
my office, come back tomorrow.
Could we Thanks, George. Okay. We have June 5th, July 10th, August 7th. Let's rush this meeting. Everybody get a chance to read these?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything wrong.
I'm not the one you want proofreading these. I didn't see anything that stood out.
Everybody's name spelled right?
Right.
Close enough.
That's usually where we fall down on spelling. Not you, but maybe somebody else.
Yeah, that and grammar, and I'm not good at it.
This is transcribed by Naomi Bolton. from the tape. So, motion to accept zoning board adjustment minutes, June 5th, 2018.
Move to accept June 5th zoning board minutes 2018.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion, being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Now for July 10th.
I'd like to make a motion to accept July 10th, 2018 zoning board meeting minutes.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? None? Any question here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0, thank you. Now we're here for August 7th.
Move to accept zoning board meeting minutes dated August 7th,
Thank you.
2018.
And
I'll second.
thank you. Any discussion? I don't see any issues here either.
I'd like to make a motion for...
Oh, we haven't taken a vote yet.
Oh, yeah.
You may be in favor, let's see. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
5-0, please. Now we're on to September 11th.
Make a motion to accept zoning board September 11th, 2018 meeting minutes.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? I'll say that I was remiss for not offering a moment of, asking a request for a moment of silence on 9/11. I missed it, so that's my issue. So, any other questions, any other discussion? Being none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any continuance, Chip? Other business? I guess we're done. See you on the 13th. Someday I gotta throw this stuff away.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. Thank you.